wait for the intro, actually.
After the end.
It's a brand new decade in Middlesex County. The first GMC Hoops game of the week of the 2020s comes to you live from New Brunswick High School as the home team, the New Brunswick Zebras, will do battle with the North Brunswick Raiders. It's great to have you with us. My name is James Corrigan. The big story for the New Brunswick Zebras today is that Ian Brown Miller, their superstar point guard, appears to be in the lineup. He suffered an ankle injury in their loss to Edison High School just the other day by 13 points, 47-34. Ian Brown Miller went out of that game in the first quarter, did not return, was the main reason for their defeat, their upset defeat to the Edison Eagles. Brown Miller, averaging over 16 points a game, has scored 25 points this year against John F. Kennedy in the dramatic win here over South Brunswick during the holiday break. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. So he is in the lineup and starting today. He is wearing a brace on his right ankle. He and his star center teammate Tajay Moore, both first-team preseason all-county performers, will look to turn aside a much-improved North Brunswick Raiders team, led by the likes of Jabri Fitzpatrick, their all-world guard, and the junior big man who has been a revelation for New Brunswick, number 14, Donovan Crawford. He's not number 14, but Donovan Crawford has torn it up for the Raiders this season, 15.5 points per game. Just a junior, the transfer from Highland Park. So we are all set to begin. The starters for both sides for North Brunswick: Jaquel Boyd, Corey Smith, Jabri Fitzpatrick, Isan Whitehurst, and Donovan Crawford, who is number 31, will go up against New Brunswick, who is not a very deep team. They're led by Ian Brown Miller, Josiah Brown, Nadir Harmon, Tajay Moore, and Taji Welcome. The tip is up. It's won by the Zebras, and Ian Brown Miller showing immediately that his ankle is healthy as they come. A quick 2 for the star senior Ian Brown Miller to start the scoring. Fitzpatrick into the corner, straight on for Boyd. Fitzpatrick has taken a big jump this season as just a junior. Donovan Crawford feigns the three. Crawford, despite his size, is adept from the perimeter. He has 9 threes made this year. Brian Latham also starting today for New Brunswick as the jumper is true for Corey Smith. His first 2 of the game, Corey Smith this season averaging a little over 14 points per game. It's been the big 3 for North Brunswick this season, with Smith, Crawford, and Fitzpatrick leading the charge. Brown straight on, it's Latham. Brown Miller. This team's so reliant on its top 2. Head coach Samir Sinew, who's turned this program around. A lot of contact, no whistle as Brown Miller lost the ball. Both these teams competed in the Brunswick Classic over the holiday break. New Brunswick picking up 2 massive victories over East Brunswick and by 1 point over South Brunswick. A dramatic victory it was, 51-50 over South Brunswick. Boyd will take the baseline and he will finish. Jackwell Boyd, the 5'9" junior, averaging a little under 7 points per game. The Raiders with the early advantage. Brown finds the corner. It's Nadir Harmon. His 3 is too strong. And it'll be a push-off on Donovan Crawford. A big key in this game will be if one of the 2 bigs gets into foul trouble. Crawford and Tajay Moore, the 6'8" center from New Brunswick, expected to jockey throughout the evening. Donovan Crawford, one of the more advanced offensive big men in the county. Fitzpatrick almost stole the ball. Crawford did so. Lofted to Fitzpatrick, but taken away in the end by Josiah Brown. Brown Miller thought about the 3, will step back from the corner. Just misses Crawford with a rebound, outlets to Boyd. Boyd, a lot of space in front. Whitehurst will try the 3 and hit the 3. Asan Whitehurst, 6'0" senior, with his first basket of the game, and New Brunswick out to an early 7-2 lead with 5:40 left in the first quarter. Brown Miller down the lane, he scores. Ian Brown Miller with an early 4 points. He has the only 4 for New Brunswick. 5.5 left. Corey Smith can't finish. Crawford cannot either. Crawford gets it back. Off glass. 3rd time, not the charm. He's swatted away by Moore. Harmon bounces. Tajay Moore can't dunk it in. But Harmon, it's still worth the 2. My goodness, that would have been the highlight perhaps of all time here at New Brunswick High School, but the 2 points will suffice under 5 left in the first quarter. Save from going out by Latham. All alone, Nadir Harmon. Fitzpatrick recovers the Euro and 1. A quick 6-0 run for the Zebras. Nadir Harmon. An impressive move by the 6'1" senior, averaging 8 points per game for the Zebras. Both meetings against North Brunswick last season. Harmon put together considerable efforts, 19 and 10 points respectively in those 2 games. The Zebras have won 4 straight over their Brunswick rivals from the north. The offensive rebound, Latham can't finish. Fitzpatrick will give it off to Boyd. Boyd up top, Fitzpatrick thought about the 3, but thought better of it. Smith, he can stroke it from outside. Looked like he was bumped on the drive, and the foul will go against Harmon. Samir Sinew, the head man for New Brunswick, has turned this program around in a hurry in just his 4th season. He has doubled his division wins in every year he's been at New Brunswick. 2 in the first year, 4 in the second year, and last season, the breakout year for the Zebras, 8-4 in the white division. Reached the GMC semifinal round. The 3 is short from Corey Smith. It was a controversial victory the Zebras had last year over Old Bridge, the top seed in the GMC tournament. From the baseline, off glass, they can't finish. Tajay Moore, offensive rebound. You're not going to keep him off the boards for very long. Taji Welcome has checked into the game just a moment ago for Ayan Brown-Miller, so a sign perhaps that Samir Sinew is limiting his minutes coming off of the ankle injury suffered against Edison. The three is well off the mark from Crawford. Fighting for it, Corey Smith finishes off glass. Corey Smith, great job by the senior staying with the play. Apologize for the delay on the scores. It's 10-9 New Brunswick. Josiah Brown finds Harmon in the corner. That's a three for Nadir Harmon. And Nadir Harmon has had himself a quarter, 7 points out of the 13. Trying to respond from the corner, Smith is short. Tracks his own rebound down. North Brunswick coming off of just a 6-win season last year, a foul on the floor as Whitehurst was driving in. The head man for North Brunswick, Ed Borghini, who just celebrated a considerable milestone. His 400th career victory came right here at New Brunswick in the Brunswick Classic over East Brunswick. He's at 402 now in his 30th season at the helm of the Raiders, a true legend in Middlesex County. As Josiah Brown checked out, stepping out of bounds was Whitehurst. Josiah Brown is getting stretched out on the trainer's table, replaced by Ayan Brown-Miller, who has it amidst the full court pressure from North Brunswick. Good luck pressing against this man. The lob for more! The top duo in Middlesex County continues to make it look easy. That's something that we have seen from those two time and time again. Ayan Brown-Miller to Tajay Moore for the slam. Boyd, the response. Too strong. Crawford the board. And he finishes with ease. We get a timeout called by Samir Sinew. 30-second timeout. It is in fact North Brunswick calling the timeout, which, as we get a first look at the sharply dressed Samir Sinew. Good time to remind you about our sponsor, Lots of Balls, the gourmet meatball restaurant that you never thought you needed. Lots of Balls located on Main Street in Metuchen. Go there for lunch, go there for dinner. Bring the whole family. The family-style atmosphere is unmatched. Lots of Balls, 25 New Street in Metuchen. Go there when you can. 15-11, New Brunswick on top of North Brunswick. And the early going of the Hearst GMC Hoops game of the week of the new decade. James Cargan on hand. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be. The Zebras picked as the considerable preseason favorite to win the White Division. Suffering a setback last week at the hands of the Edison Eagles, a very solid Edison Eagles team. Can't take anything away from Charlie Moore on his side, as Brown-Miller will step into a three and drain it to the surprise of no one. Ayan Brown-Miller now with 7, and it's a 7-point lead for the Zebras. This is just a completely different Zebras team with Brown-Miller on the floor. They missed him dearly in the loss to Edison. New Brunswick, in fact, picked first to win the Central Jersey Group 4 section as Jaquel Boyd fires back with a 2 of his own. Picked as the favorite to win the Central Jersey Group 4 section were these Zebras. A big turnaround from the 3 years prior to Samir Sinew's arrival, where they went a combined 1-41 in White Division games. The step back, Brown-Miller, that's an air ball. Fitzpatrick comes down with the ball. Fitzpatrick has made a huge leap from his sophomore to his junior year. Took his lumps last season, but it's just a poised player leading the charge for this North Brunswick Raiders team. Straight on Crawford, pump fake, more bit. Crawford all the way in and scores. Donovan Crawford, as skilled offensively as a big man that I've seen in Middlesex County in some time. The lead down to 3 after a 5-0 run for North Brunswick. Josiah Brown finds the catalyst, Brown-Miller. Moore, the turnaround from 5. He was hit down low. A good call made by the official Jaquel Boyd, undercutting Tajay Moore as he was going up. So Tajay Moore will go to the line for 2, a second-team All-County performer last season, averaging 14.2 points and 12.8 rebounds per game this season. Last year averaged 14 rebounds a game as he clangs the first free throw. 14 rebounds, 12 points per game last year. In the 2 matchups against North Brunswick, he had himself a field day. 20 points and 24 rebounds in the first meeting, 18 points and 20 rebounds in the second. 1 of 2 for the big man, 6'8" senior Tajay Moore. The lead is 4 with 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Pull-up 3 from Whitehurst. Cannot find the rim. Brown Miller walking in front of his sharply dressed coach, Samir Sinew. Nobody's ever accused his counterpart, Ed Borghini, of being sharply dressed. But he is not one who will succumb to the excesses of flash. He is all substance. Welcome with his first 3-point attempt of the game. He comes up short. Fitzpatrick looked like he got hit, and the whistle is blown. 3.9 seconds left in the first quarter, so the Raiders have to go the full length of the court. We have a very good crowd here at New Brunswick High School. Fitzpatrick's going to have to get on his horse. Lost the handle of the ball. He's not going to get this shot up. 3-quarter court. So that'll do it for the first quarter. New Brunswick on top of North Brunswick, 19-15 after 1 right here on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week, courtesy of RDPLEX Films. Thanks in large part to our sponsor, the Express Athletic Center, located on Tingley Lane in Edison. You can find your AAU and travel basketball team for all genders and for all skill levels at the Express. The perfect place to prepare for the baseball season as well. That is the Express Athletic Center on Tingley Lane in Edison. James Cargan here. Thank you for joining us on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. Ayan Brown Miller leads the way with 7 points for New Brunswick. 5 for Tajay Moore and 7 as well for Nadir Harmon. And for North Brunswick, 4 points each for Corey Smith, Jaquel Boyd, and Donovan Crawford, and 3 points for Isan Whitehurst. That is the scoring thus far. Donovan Crawford, you may recall his brother Deontay Crawford, starring for Highland Park High School and then later on for Bishop R as a junior. Donovan Crawford transferring from Highland Park after last season, after a big sophomore year for him, averaging nearly 12 points per game for the Highland Park Owls. So North Brunswick will begin the proceedings coming out of the first quarter. Corey Smith, guarded by Latham, pull up from 15, that's good. Corey Smith, such a talented offensive player is he. Lead down to 2 for the Zebras, just 20 seconds into quarter number 2. Brown Miller finds the cutting Josiah Brown through the hands of Latham, and it's out for the backcourt. Brian Latham wearing number 5 in white, guarding Jaquel Boyd, number 3 in blue. Boyd off the screen. Boyd crosses over, looking for a cutter. Instead, Crawford. Great pump fake on Crawford, almost a jump ball. Brown Miller got his hand onto it, but Whitehurst puts it in the end to tie this one at 19 apiece, 1 minute into the second quarter. Could have very easily been called a jump ball there. On Crawford's drive, behind the back goes Latham, almost lost the ball. Dead ball scenario perhaps for North Brunswick, but they can't take advantage. Moore, no real threat to shoot from outside is he. Swung to Brown Miller, the all-county performer, all the way through the trees, and he'll go to the line for 2. Ayan Brown Miller, just 5'10". but an abundance of skill. Picked third team All-County last season. And we expect Brown Miller will go to the line for 2. In last season's games against North Brunswick, the first meeting, 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. The second meeting, 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. Ayon Brown Miller, one of the premier performers in the Greater Middlesex Conference, without a doubt. Two for 2 for Brown Miller, up to 9 points. And the lead for the Zebras back up to 2. A win here would prove dividends for New Brunswick, getting back on the right track. Coming off of their upset defeat last week to Edison, of course, getting Brown Miller back from his ankle injury helps in large part. Crawford will bring it well beyond the arc. Boyd, the full head of steam, barreling through, but tied up by Latham. A jump ball, it'll go the way of the Zebras on the arrow. So we will get our first look in blue at Marquise Parry. Marquise Parry wearing number 13 in blue. Parry a sophomore, as Moore will go to work on Crawford. This is the matchup we were all anticipating, and Crawford, I believe, has just picked up his second foul. No, Parry will pick up the foul, fortunately for the Raiders. So Crawford will sit regardless. The announcement came that the foul was on Parry. The jumper from Harmon, almost an offensive goaltending, but not whistled. Tajay Moore putting it back in with ease, getting all the way up there. In the game, Tim Bolaji wearing number 40, the big man in blue for North Brunswick. Dangerous pass out of bounds off of North Brunswick. Good defense by Latham in white. So a correction just made by the PA announcer. The foul was indeed charged to Crawford. It is his second foul. Moore will take advantage. Air ball, thought he was hit on the arm, but the foul not given. Boyd the other way. Boyd stops at the elbow. Will smartly pull it back out, switched onto by the dangerous defender, Ayon Brown Miller. And that's why he's so dangerous. Looked like it went off of Boyd last, and it did. So Ed Borghini's not going to wait to put Donovan Crawford back in the game with his 2 fouls. He and Jabri Fitzpatrick re-enter for Corey Smith and Tim Balaji, excuse me. 5 minutes, 10 seconds left in quarter number 2. Josiah Brown near midcourt. Full head of steam right around. Good move from Brown. And the finish. Under 5 minutes left. Surely out of bounds on the inbound were the Raiders. And the ball goes back to New Brunswick. 4:55 left in the first half, and all the momentum right now on the side of the man in white, Josiah Brown. A beautiful move, and the timeout will be called by Ed Borghini and the Raiders. And there you see the man in the back in the blue sweater, Ed Borghini. Certainly not the fashion sense of his counterparts, Samir, Sinew, but as successful as they have come in Middlesex County. He won his lone GMC title back in 1997. White Division champions in 2011, 12, and 13. But that was the last White Division title for the Raiders. Looking for their first title since then this year, and they have a good shot at it as we see the brother of Mohammed Sinew, Samir Sinew, next to a dancing zebra mascot near the New Brunswick bench. So New Brunswick ball off the timeout. Moore looking for the cutter. He will find it. Harman can't finish. Boyd comes down with it. Jaquel Boyd almost lost the ball. Open down low, active hands, nicely done by Harmon to tip it out of bounds, as Parry was in prime position for an easy layup. 4:40 left in the first half. Whitehurst looks for Fitzpatrick, dangerous pass, it is stolen away. Josiah Brown finds Ayon Brown Miller. Will they do it again? They will! They make the spectacular seem mundane by comparison. Ayon Brown Miller and Tajay Moore hooking up for this second alley-oop of the game. Crawford stripped. What a strip that was by Brown Miller. Spins, almost walked with the ball. Moore, a whirling dervish now for the Zebras. Will they get away with it? Moore will barrel in on Crawford. And that will be foul number 3 on Donovan Crawford. And that is a killer for the Raiders. Surely now he will sit for the remainder of the half. Immediately replaced by Corey Smith. That was a big factor. I mentioned it earlier. Which of the big men will get into foul trouble first? And the answer has been given to us in the form of the junior Donovan Crawford. Dangerous inbounds pass. Scrap for the ball. Boyd and Latham going at it. And this time the arrow will favor North Brunswick as the two will exchange pleasantries. North Brunswick will get the ball, and they now find themselves down by 8 points with 4:06 left in half number 1. A wet floor, and in the spirit of doing it yourself DIY, it's Samir Sinew who will wipe the floor, the head coach of the Zebras. Samir Sinew's brother, Mohammed Sinew, of course, a star at South Brunswick High School and Rutgers University before his excellent NFL career, which his season just concluded just this past weekend with the Patriots, as Corey Smith will sink the jumper and the foul. So Corey Smith, who's had himself a very nice day with 8 points already. A chance for 9 and a chance to bring the lead down to 5 for the Zebras. Cannot convert more the rebound. The Zebras team likes to move fast, but the pass behind Taji Welcome, who's just checked back in for New Brunswick. We'll see if New Brunswick will put the pressure on. It would normally a team with such skill and athleticism as New Brunswick would find themselves comfortable in a pressing situation, but this team is not very deep. They only go 6 overall. So the stamina of the players is always in the back of Samir Sinew's mind. Smith in the corner will pull up the floater from 5, is in and out. And it's out of bounds off the Raiders. Only 6 deep though to these New Brunswick Zebras, but for them it's been the right 6. Breaking out last season after a long time of being in the GMC basement. Now this year, the preseason number 3 team in the GMC Hoops rankings. All the expectations in the world on Samir Sinew and these Zebras. They will slow the pace with Brown Miller. North Brunswick appears to have switched to a trapping zone. Fitzpatrick will kick the ball. Fitzpatrick so long up top. The change in defense is almost catching New Brunswick off guard, as on the sideline, the ever-eccentric Ed Borghini feigning a kung fu kick, bemoaning that Fitzpatrick did not steal that pass, instead trying to kick the ball. He's been a character ever since his debut 30 years ago. Josiah Brown will begin the offense, or so it seemed. Welcome will look for more, but denied by Corey Smith. I'll get the Raider bench fired up. Brian Latham back in. Taji Welcome is out. A complete contrast of coaching styles between Ed Borghini and Samir Sinew. Coach Sinew a lot more subdued than the eccentric Ed Borghini. He recognizes that he has a different generation of players in his midst and tries to communicate with them the best way he can as Moore is stripped beautifully by Boyd. As clean as you like, Boyd will take it himself. Whitehurst for three. Off the side of the backboard it goes. Fitzpatrick, the second chance point. Jabri Fitzpatrick not denied from the outside. The lead down to 3 for the Zebras. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Ed Borghini, on the other hand, as intense as they come. Brown Miller will slow things down. The hesitation move going in on Whitehurst. Off glass. My goodness. Ion Brown Miller continues to shine ever so brightly for his New Brunswick Zebras. Smith, who's had himself an impressive first half, but they turn it over. Not exactly the best advised of passes from Smith all the way across the court as Boyd and Latham are still jawing with each other. That's something that has been brewing since the first quarter. Brown Miller crosses over, stripped by Fitzpatrick, taken away by Corey Smith. Smith dribbles it off his leg, still loose. Smith will get down on the ground with Brown Miller. Finally, it's taken by Fitzpatrick. Good extra pass, Boyd, the three. That's an air ball. Josiah Brown the other way. Brown all the way, but the foul will come on the floor. It's the 7th foul on North Brunswick. So Josiah Brown will go to the line for 1 and 1. Brown, just a sophomore at 5'9", played a huge role last season on the semifinal Zebras as just a freshman. Perhaps the most accomplished freshman last season in Middlesex County was he. And he gets the front end to go. .2 seconds left in the first half. 1 of 2, Tajay Moore, the offensive board. Perhaps should have kept it at his chin. Brown Miller, the pump fake from the free throw line. He's too strong. Moore, nobody stronger than him, but he misses the dunk. But 2 free throws will come his way nonetheless. Tajay Moore, undoubtedly the best center in Middlesex County up to this point. He is as physical of a presence as we've seen in some time in the low block on the offensive and defensive ends. As Marquise Parry will check back in, number 13 down low. Moore misses both free throws. Corey Smith the rebound, 37 seconds left. Raiders down 7. 30 seconds left. Smith finds Boyd. We get our first look at Christian Salazar with the ball now. Number 12 in blue, who's in for the first time today. Salazar not very advised to jump while passing the ball, but got it to Boyd nonetheless. Smith with 9 seconds left. Smith avoids the strip from Brown Miller. Brown Miller commits the foul. So much for whether or not Ion Brown Miller's ankle is healthy. Aside from a very brief respite in the first quarter, Ion Brown Miller has played every second of this first half. 6.8 left in the first half. Smith, the long 2. Offensive rebound. Parry has to put it up. He does, but he can't get it to go at the buzzer. So at the half, it is New Brunswick 31, North Brunswick 24. Here on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week, courtesy of RDPLEX Films. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be. It is halftime. We will get you the stats from the first half as well as some of the score updates from around Middlesex County. No surprise to see Ion Brown-Miller leading the charge with 11 points. Tajay Moore with 10 and an abundance of rebounds that we would not even try to count. 7 points for Nadir Harmon. And 3 points for Josiah Brown. For North Brunswick, leading the charge, Corey Smith with 8 points. Jabri Fitzpatrick with just 3. 5 for Donovan Crawford, who finds himself in some serious foul trouble. 4, in fact, for Donovan Crawford. 5 for Isan Whitehurst, and 3 for Jackwell Boyd. So those are the stats in the first half for both teams. So we'll try and get you a few of the updates from the scores around Middlesex County, and a big one, big one, coming out of the Red Division. Piscataway blowing out Old Bridge 66-41. And it has to be said right now, the Knights are struggling. Old Bridge drops now to 1-6, while Piscataway picks up its first victory in the GMC Red Division. A lot was thought of the Knights this season. Returning likes of Sean Williams and Ryan Dela Cuesta, Jim McComber, an excellent head coach at the helm coming off of his Red Division championship season last year. But still a lot to work out for the Knights before they can jump back into contention. Again, 66-41. That is Piscataway on top of Old Bridge. County. Some of the results from yesterday's games. St. Thomas Aquinas bouncing back from its loss to St. Joseph, destroying Spotswood 89-44. That was of course expected, but what was not expected from many was the victory by the St. Joseph Falcons over the side formerly known as Bishop R. St. Thomas Aquinas by 5 points. Parry Ford in the victory over East Brunswick had no points. But reports of his demise have been greatly exaggerated, to say the very least. For under new coach Janka Coziello, he has replenished the St. Joseph Falcons, and they are going to be moving back to the #1 spot in the GMC rankings without a doubt. A couple of the other games that are scheduled today, or were scheduled for earlier. JP Stevens hosting South Brunswick, the Vikings, the highest scoring team in Middlesex County so far. And going on now, it's 7 o'clock. St. Joseph traveling to take on Monroe, and East Brunswick traveling to take on a far improved Perth Amboy team. Perth Amboy, who knocked off the Old Bridge Knights in overtime last week, a win that does not look as good as it did at the time, but still an impressive looking team. I had a chance to see them take on JP Stevens just the other day, and they have an abundance of talent due to the Panthers. And one of the more exciting players in Middlesex County resides in Perth Amboy, and Kasim Jackson. I mentioned before the big result, and we'll go over that a little bit right now. The victory by St. Joe's over St. Thomas Aquinas. GMC Hoops' own Greg Machos was in attendance for that one. It was a 7-point lead for the Trojans at the half. Kayshawn Schulters pouring in 15 points in that one to go with the 18 of Tyree Ford. Ethan Simmons with 12. Amari Campbell, just a sophomore, but has looked very impressive for Joes with 11 points. For Aquinas, Jaquan Harris, the top sophomore in the Garden State with 25 points. Quadri Adams, the preseason player of the year, 15 points, 10 rebounds. But no one else for Aquinas in double figures, despite their abundance of talent. Just 4 points for Derek Grant to go along with 11 rebounds. Kyrie Henry, just 5 points. So there's still a lot to work out for Bob Turco and the Trojans. It's largely a new team for him, as it was last season, where they had to work out some of the early season kinks. They suffered a loss last year to J.P. Stevens, which many felt was rather unexpected. And Tristan Jeffries, don't forget, will be eligible this season. The transfer from Gill St. Bernard's has to sit the requisite 30 days before suiting up in North Edison. So when he becomes eligible, that will give a completely different dynamic to the Trojan side. Many still see them as the favorite to win the GMC championship come February. And perhaps the non-public South A title as well, although they have a lot more competition for that. But do not count out either of these sides to become a factor in February, especially this New Brunswick team. They have as much talent as anyone, especially with the top two in Brown Miller and Tajay Moore. This North Brunswick team only won 6 games all of last season and just went 4-8 in the white division, lost in the first round of the GMC tournament as the 17 seed to number 1 Aldridge. In their previous outing, they beat John F. Kennedy 65-60. John F. Kennedy, who also knocked off the Woodbridge Barons, a team that has struggled mightily this season. New Brunswick, mentioned many times today in their last outing, 13-point loss to the Edison Eagles. A very good Edison Eagles are led by Emmanuel Davila. And that is a great segue to remind you that the next GMC Hoops broadcast is a big one. Coming to you next Monday at 5:30, the City of Light Classic presented by GMC Hoops between Edison and J.P. Stevens, live from J.P. Stevens High School. That is next Monday at 5:30 on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week presented by RDPLEX Films. You can see that one live on the RDPLEX Films YouTube channel, where you are presumably situated right now. Thank you for joining us as closing in on a minute left in the halftime period. Good chance to go over the latest GMC Hoops rankings, which came out yesterday from the head honcho of GMC Hoops, Mr. Greg Machos. Just a reminder, this game today presented by Lots of Balls, 25 New Street in Metuchen. The gourmet meatball extravaganza that you never thought you needed. The family-style atmosphere that you've always desired. Lots of Balls in Metuchen and the Express Athletics Center for all your AAU travel basketball and baseball needs on Tigley Lane in Metuchen. And the latest GMC Hoops Top 10 from Greg Machos. New Brunswick ranked number 5 coming off of their loss to Edison. North Brunswick coming in at number 9. But New Brunswick has to be thought that they are much better than that number 5 ranking indicates, although still an impressive number that is, as the Zebras will begin the proceedings coming into the third quarter. Original starting 5 out there for New Brunswick in Latham, Brown, Miller, Moore, Harmon, and Josiah Brown. Brown Miller with it in the corner. Harmon will pull up from 3. Rebound taken by Brian Latham. Harmon the jab step, but will not put it up. The 5 in for North Brunswick is Whitehurst, Boyd, Fitzpatrick, Smith, And Donovan Crawford, who's in with 3 fouls, and no surprise, they'll go right at him. Crawford has to be careful on defense. The dish from Moore. Latham down low is blocked by Fitzpatrick. The jump ball will give it to North Brunswick on the arrow. I would expect that Tajay Moore will catch the ball on nearly every possession for New Brunswick. This man, Donovan Crawford, picking up the 3 fouls in the first half, dribbles it off of his own foot and out of play. Crawford, the junior transfer from Highland Park. Josiah Brown walks it up. Gets right around Boyd. To the glass, he lays it in. Josiah Brown has done that on several occasions today. He's looked very impressive. And the lead now 9 for the Zebras, their largest of the game. Whitehurst looking for Crawford, finds him, and he's fouled by Moore. Perhaps a cheap foul on Moore, but a foul nonetheless. Only his first that has been important for New Brunswick to keep him on the court. Fitzpatrick in the corner off the inbound. Jabri Fitzpatrick, just a junior. Looking for Crawford, will find him. Dribble it. It looked like it was off of Moore's foot this time. But they will give it the way of New Brunswick. And the timeout will be called by Ed Borghini. But nonetheless, Crawford not able to control his dribble on back-to-back possessions. And I'm getting confirmation on the replay that he did dribble it off of Moore's foot. As we will get we would try to get a look the replay, but it is just a 30-second timeout. Thank you to Ryan DePaul for manning the camera today, the head man at RDPLEX Films, as a recording of an organ is playing here at New Brunswick. Not something you hear at a high school basketball game every day. 6.5 left to play in the third quarter. Josiah Brown trying to spin on Boyd, who holds his nerve. He floats it up in and out. And Fitzpatrick will come away with it. Full head of steam, but Fitzpatrick will stop on the perimeter. Good defense by Josiah Brown. Fitzpatrick, the deep 3 from 25, off to the right. Crawford, the rebound. Crawford denied by Tajay Moore. Brown Miller lobs it to Brown, back to Brown Miller. And the Zebras will set up in firm control, up by 9, under 6 left in the third quarter. Brown Miller hesitation move, the free throw line, Jay. Falls to Corey Smith. Smith will take it in. Crawford, he can shoot it from out there. And the proof is in the pudding. Donovan Crawford with his 8th three-pointer of the season. Josiah Brown the other way. Scoop layup is good. All the attention for New Brunswick is put on Brown Miller and more as Jabri Fitzpatrick responds with a 3 of his own. Up and down action here in New Brunswick. A lot of attention is put on Moore and Brown Miller, as it should be, but Josiah Brown has been nearly as impressive here tonight. Brown Miller, the free throw line jumper. It looked like he faked the behind the back pass. Full head of steam. Boyd in space. He'll be fouled. He goes down hard in the end. But the foul will be on the floor. It will go against Latham. 4:51 left in quarter number 3. A 5-point advantage for New Brunswick. Smith, nearly a foul on Harmon, but Smith spins away, but can't finish. Brown Miller the other way. Harmon pump fakes from 3, but no dice. Brown Miller can pull it from just about anywhere on the floor. Moore going on Crawford with the 3 fouls. He'll be fouled from the back by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick up in arms about the call, but cannot be any complaints. So Jabri Fitzpatrick all of a sudden has picked up his third personal foul. Fitzpatrick and Crawford both with 3. Tajay Moore to the line for 2. He missed a pair earlier in the first half, but he sinks the first. Tajay Moore now with 11 points, and now with 12. 37-30, New Brunswick on top of North Brunswick. Under 4.5 to play in quarter number 3. North Brunswick looking to move to 4-0 in the GMC White Division. New Brunswick looking to bounce back from a defeat at the hands of Edison High School last week. Smith spins and flings the ball away, and it's taken by Josiah Brown. Latham back for Brown. Moore posting on Crawford. Moore begging for the ball. The double from Boyd from the backside, perhaps convincing Josiah Brown to not give it to Tajay Moore. Instead, Brown Miller will take the 3. Moore the easy rebound. The fall away, he puts it in. So Moore now with 13 points. Going to lead back up to 9. Matches the largest lead of the day. Fitzpatrick. Whitehurst for 3. In and out. Falls to Smith off the tap. And Smith finishes from 10. Corey Smith. Ed Borghini was telling me earlier that Corey Smith was always a good shooter, but this year has really upped his all-around game. Closing in on 3 minutes remaining in quarter number 3. Corey Smith now with 10 points, and Tajay Moore now with 14. Tajay Moore now with 16. As easy as you like for the big man. Tajay Moore having his way. Donovan Crawford cannot be as physical as he likes with the 3 fouls, and that foul will be on the floor as Jaquel Boyd, who is a bulldozer going to the rim, as Tajay Welcome will be welcomed back in, replacing Brian Latham. Smith will have it underneath, and he will throw it away. 2:41 left in quarter number 3. Josiah Brown, what a spin move by Brown all the way. A lot of contact, no whistle. It falls to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, oh, what a strip by Ion Brown Miller. Brown Miller throws it away on the other end, but that does not take away from the brilliant defensive play that he just made. My goodness. And New Brunswick will call time. They are in control of this one here in their home gym. 41-32, 2:23 left in the third quarter. Mentioned before, next Monday, the City of Light Classic presented by GMC Hoops between Edison and JP Stevens. That's a 5:30 start. The most intense rivalry in all of Middlesex County. This will be the 4th consecutive year that we are bringing you that matchup. The clash for the City of Light Trophy. That is next Monday, 5:30, right here on the RDPLEX Films YouTube channel. And it's been all eye on Brown Miller and Tajay Moore for New Brunswick. Moore with 16 points. And Brown Miller, some spectacular plays on both the offensive and defensive ends. 2:23 left in the third. Full court press showing here for the first time from New Brunswick. Boyd finds Crawford. He's open for three. Looking for his second three of the game. They'll be out off of New Brunswick. 2:13 left in quarter number 3. Whitehurst finds Smith, who steps back beyond the arc. That's as pretty as you like from Corey Smith. 13 now for Corey Smith. He leads the Raiders, the senior, averaging nearly 14 a game, almost at his average. Brown slips. Boyd sees it taken away by Brown. Brown all the way, but can't finish. Moore the rebound. He brings it down again, and he bumps Boyd from behind and walks over him. Boyd will take umbrage to that. The intensity of Tajay Moore is almost always to his benefit, but sometimes can be to his detriment. A player who wears his emotions on his sleeve. Samir Sinew put it best to me earlier, saying he wants all the smoke. And truer words have never been spoken about a player, Tajay Moore, as intense as you like. Jaquel Boyd not far behind. Crawford gonna go to work on Moore from the perimeter. Will spin, stripped by Brown Miller. Brown Miller has it poked away. Fitzpatrick will go all the way. This crowd has started to come to life. The altercation between Moore and Boyd serving to fire them up. Brown Miller maybe ill-advised on the drive. Welcome the nice move and one. I mean, it's 7 left in the third quarter, and this crowd is starting to come unglued. This near capacity crowd here at New Brunswick High School, they sense that they have a special team. And that foul is on Donovan Crawford, his 4th. Crawford will sit, much to the dismay of Ed Borghini. The 5 out right now as Christian Salazar is in for North Brunswick. It's Salazar, Boyd, Fitzpatrick, Smith, and Whitehurst as Taji Welcome gets one shot. Misses the free throw badly. The 6'1" senior Welcome, averaging nearly 4 points a game coming in. Under a minute left in the third quarter. It's a 6-point lead for the Zebras. Smith. Swung for Boyd. Boyd drives in and throws it over the backboard, but the foul is called late. A late whistle. Tajay Moore with a befuddled look on his face as Boyd whipped it over the backboard. And I believe that is the third team foul on that is the third foul, personal foul rather, on Tajay Moore. So that is certainly something to keep an eye on his counterpart, as it's an air ball. That will get this crowd rollicking. So Moore will sit with the 3 fouls. His counterpart, Crawford, sitting with 4. Yes, Jaquel Boyd misses both. Latham back in for New Brunswick, replacing Moore, so both teams going small. The bounce pass stolen away by Corey Smith. Smith trapped in the backcourt, fouled by Welcome. That's the 16th foul on New Brunswick with 33.6 left in the third quarter. North Brunswick with just 2. And the intensity has picked up considerably here in the third quarter. Smith working on Brown Miller. Will pull up contested jumper. Ion Brown Miller couldn't have played better defense than that. 15 now for Corey Smith. And the lead down to 4 for the Zebras. This has been a breakout game for Corey Smith. His season high came against East Brunswick with 17. And Christian Salazar will commit a foul in the backcourt, just his first and the team's third, so no harm really done. 15.4 seconds left in the third quarter, but full court pressure showing here for North Brunswick. Brown Miller taking his time in the backcourt. Now 10 seconds left. He's going to have to hurry, bumped by Fitzpatrick with 9.2 seconds left. Foul number 4 on the Raiders. And that is at least 3, maybe 4 on Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick will have to sit. A lot of players getting into foul trouble here as the intensity is picked up. Harmon will find Brown Miller. 6 seconds left in the third. 5, Brown Miller double teamed. Harmon, the runner at the buzzer. And North Brunswick has bounced back in the third quarter to make it a 4-point game, 43-39 after 3 here in the GMC Hoops Game of the Week, courtesy of RDPLEX Films. Thank you to our sponsors, Lots of Balls, 25 New Street in Metuchen, the gourmet meatball restaurant you never thought you needed, but the family-style atmosphere that you've always craved. And by the Express Athletics Center, Middlesex County's premier sports performance facility located on Tingley Lane in Edison. Foul trouble is a story. 3 fouls on Tajay Moore, 4 it appears on Donovan Crawford, and 4 it appears on Jabri Fitzpatrick. The scoring for New Brunswick, Ion Brown Miller with 11, Tajay Moore with 16, Nadir Harmon with 7. For North Brunswick, Corey Smith with 15 points, 2 off of his season high of 17. That came in the victory over East Brunswick in the Brunswick Classic. But the Stars have been held in check for North Brunswick. Fitzpatrick with just 8, Crawford in foul trouble with just 7. Corey Smith has carried the load as the fourth quarter is underway here at New Brunswick. Harmon will look to operate. Brown Miller on the bench to start this fourth quarter for New Brunswick. It's Welcome, Latham, Brown, Moore, and Harmon stripped by Boyd. Boyd is fouled driving in. Jaquel Boyd will go to line for 1 and 1. That being the 7th team foul on the Zebras. And the 3rd foul on Welcome. One and 1 for Boyd. Boyd misses the front end. Moore skies up for the rebound. Welcome. Welcome will go all the way and score. Straight on Whitehurst. Crawford, risky pass. Crawford in with the 4 fouls. Crawford will go all the way, can't finish off glass. Brown the other way. Latham guarded by Boyd. Fitzpatrick pokes it away. Brown in the corner. Tajay Moore, the rare jumper, in and out. Welcome tips it out. So Ion Brown Miller has checked back into this game. Some full court pressure showing here from the Zebras. They back off. It's just Harmon in the backcourt guarding Jaquel Boyd, who has taken offense to several New Brunswick players. Going down is Smith, falls to Boyd. Boyd's floater too strong. And Harmon the rebound. Harmon staring down Boyd as he grabbed the ball. Brown Miller will spin. And he will get it back. Behind Brown Miller with just 11 points today, well under his average. But he's done much more than just score. Brown hits it off the side of the backboard. Welcome cleans up the glass. New Brunswick has scored the first 4 here in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes gone by, 6 minutes remaining in quarter number 4. The 3 straight on is too strong from Corey Smith. Tajay Moore the rebound. Brown Miller crosses midcourt. Harmon. Welcome has scored the last 4 for New Brunswick. Tajay Moore is hit. If that's on Crawford, it's 5. Let's see what the official has to say. And it is on Crawford. And it is foul number 5, and he is out. So Donovan Crawford fouls out with just 7 points. All eyes as Tajay Moore comes up a bit gimpy. So Moore will have to watch out. He's favoring his left leg, but we were all watching the battle of the big men coming into this one between Crawford and Moore. And clearly Moore has gotten the better of the junior Donovan Crawford. Moore will take these free throws favoring his left leg. It's team foul number 5 on North Brunswick. The lead for New Brunswick has not gotten above 9 at all here tonight. So Moore, despite the pain, sinks the first. Moore being allowed to tie his shoe. A considerably sized shoe for the 6'8" big man. And Moore gives New Brunswick its largest lead of the game at 10 with 5.5 left in the fourth. Smith crosses over. Smith is fouled hard by Nadir Harmon. So Smith with 15 points in this one will look to expand. Corey Smith's career high came last season against these very same New Brunswick Zebras, 21 points. And he misses the first. Ed Borghini will call time. So North Brunswick sees its backs up against the wall. 49-39, 5:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. On Monday, we will see the City of Light Classic between JP Stevens and Edison. Next Thursday, we will see a battle of the top 2 teams in the red division. St. Joseph will host South Brunswick. South Brunswick, so much talent and shooting ability on that team. With Devin Strickland and Justin Carbone, St. Joe's coming off of a massive victory over St. Thomas Aquinas. They are the new #1 team in the county, which should not be a surprise considering they are the 4-time defending GMC champions, winners of 9 of the last 10. That'll be next Thursday at 7 here on the RDPLEX Films YouTube channel. So we have a result from the GMC Red Division, and it is not a good one if you are a JP Stevens Hawks fan. South Brunswick defeating JP Stevens 77-39. Joe Holman and the Vikings continue to fly high this season. Their only conference loss so far, 1 point to these New Brunswick Zebras as Corey Smith sinks the second of his 2 free throws to cut the New Brunswick lead to 9. Brown Miller looked like he may have pushed off on Christian Salazar, but Salazar will be whistled for the foul. It's his second and the team's 6th. Brown Miller may have gotten away with one. That'll be zebra ball underneath. Samir Sinew, not too much for him to complain about, although he's not usually a complaining type, so subdued on the sideline. Salazar denies Harmon. Salazar will lead the break. Find Whitehurst, who pumps, puts it up from 5 and scores. So lead down to 7, 4:45 left in the 4th. Brown Miller goes behind the back on Salazar. Salazar has to be careful as the Zebras are now in the bonus. Brown Miller crosses over. Brown Miller pushes off again. It's Harmon from 3. It's short. Welcome grabs the board. Harmon, Circus layup. He's fouled. The Nadir Harmon will go to the line for 2. In the game against JP Stevens, Devin Strickland with 19 points, Justin Carbone with 18. Those two will be on display next Thursday in the GMC Hoops Game of the Week against St. Joe's. As Harmon makes it an 8-point New Brunswick lead. The Zebras are 4 minutes, 30 seconds away from recovering fully from their shock defeat last week to Edison and getting themselves back on track to win the GMC White Division. Fitzpatrick working on Brown Miller. Fitzpatrick will go all the way. Impressive move by the impressive junior Zibri Fitzpatrick. The pass tipped out by Boyd. That's the other thing about this North Brunswick team, is that Fitzpatrick is just a junior, and Crawford just a junior, Boyd is just a junior, Parry off the bench is a sophomore, Salazar off the bench is a sophomore. This team is a team in North Brunswick that even now with the success they've had this year is still a year away, as Fitzpatrick, great strip on Brown Miller. Fitzpatrick is stripped of his own by Welcome. It will go to the Raiders underneath. Fitzpatrick now with 10 points off the previous layup, still playing with those 4 fouls. He's been cautious. Corey Smith in the corner. He'll hop step all the way. So all of a sudden it goes from 10-5 with 3:40 to go in the 4th. Charge on Tajay Moore. Fitzpatrick hits the deck. And that's foul number 4 on Moore. So momentum quickly starting to shift the way of the Raiders with 3:37 left in the 4th. Smith off his last bucket, now up to 18 points. That is his season high. Fitzpatrick, almost a push off there on Josiah Brown. He's got to be careful. The 3 from Fitzpatrick off to the right. Welcome comes down with it. And a cheap foul on Salazar, 90 feet from the rim. That's 1 and 1 for Welcome. It's the 4th foul on Salazar, who did not play much in the first half, but has gotten big minutes in the second. So 1 and 1 for Welcome with 3:20 left in the 4th. These are big free throws. The lead is 5. Welcome makes it 6. Seven points now for Welcome. Goes 1 of 2. Fitzpatrick looking to run, but men in front of him. He's got to be careful with the pass. Salazar is fouled, and that will be 2 shots. Team foul number 10 on New Brunswick. So free throws could perhaps be a factor. Welcome is now in foul trouble, announced as having 3. May in fact have 4. So Salazar will go to the line for 2. He's yet to score today. And now Salazar is on the board. Christian Salazar is a junior with 9 total points on the season. Had 2 in the loss to Edison, 5 against South Brunswick. Comes up short, only goes 1 of 2. Welcome, not the best place to pick up your dribble, but gets it to Brown Miller in the end. Brown Miller's gonna go to work on Boyd. Brown Miller right around Boyd. Right around almost everybody but walked. So a key turnover. We're now under 3 minutes left in the fourth, 2:54 to be exact. The lead is 5 for the Zebras. A nip and tuck game throughout. New Brunswick has had the lead almost the entire game, and North Brunswick will not go away. Corey Smith, that's an open 3. The Raiders possibly needed that one to go down. 2.5 left in the fourth. And Samir Sinew will call timeout. Thank you for joining us here in the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. James Cargan on hand. This is year number 4 for this broadcast. Only the second appearance by both of these teams on the broadcast. New Brunswick's lone appearance came in last season's GMC semifinal game against Piscataway. North Brunswick's lone appearance, back when it was merely a live audio broadcast, came in only the second game in the broadcast's history against South Brunswick. Always love to spread the wealth on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. Next Thursday, we will see South Brunswick for the first time in 4 years as well. Some of the bigger stories in the county this year, Colonia remains undefeated, and they are looking ever so strong. Carteret has been excellent as well. 2 tough losses to Group 4 opponents, but a big win over Rahway, and they have looked ever impressive. Surely those two in the top 5 in the GMC Hoops rankings, 3 and 4 respectively. New Brunswick sits at number 5 for now. Heavy pressure coming from North Brunswick, and they force the turnover. Josiah Brown, and that's just coming off a timeout as well. 2:20 left in the fourth. North Brunswick has carried the last several minutes of this game, but can they do so to the end? Boyd, pump fakes, he walks. Big turnover for North Brunswick. They'll put the pressure back on. Welcome will inbound. He cannot run the baseline. Looking for a man, finds Brown, who just turned it over a moment ago. Brown weaves his way through. Brown finds Harmon. Big basket for the Zebras, under 2 to play in the fourth. Miscommunication on that pass. Remember, Donovan Crawford is fouled out of this game for North Brunswick. Smith pump fakes, goes up with it, and scores! Ed Borghini calls a full timeout. Corey Smith has been the man. He has 20 points for the Raiders. All right, a reminder, this is also a Raiders team that are waiting for a couple of transfers of their own to become eligible after sitting the requisite 30 days. In particular, Amari Fleming, who transferred from Bishop R last season, waiting to be eligible. New Brunswick waiting for some transfers to be eligible as well. And Javon Taylor and Will Britton. So there will be reinforcements to come for both of these teams going into the stretch run of the season and the GMC tournament, where both of these teams are primed to contend, and in New Brunswick's case, perhaps even primed to win it. But they need to take care of business, especially on their home floor, if they're going to win the GMC White Division and garner a favorable seeding come February. So coming off the jumper from Smith, it'll be New Brunswick ball. North Brunswick at the moment not playing full court, but they are setting up, it appears, in a 1-3-1 half-court trap. Indeed it is, trying to trap Brown, and Brown throws it away. Samir Sinew cannot believe it on the New Brunswick sideline. Minute 35 left in the fourth. It's a 5-point game. Boyd spins in the lane, is fouled. So it'll be 2 free throws for Boyd. Even if he was not ruled to be going up, it is still the double bonus. And fouling out of the game is Tajay Welcome. So we have our requisite 30-second break coming off of the player fouling out. As is customary in high school, it's been taken out of the game at the college level. So we'll see who checks in for Welcome. Welcome trying to go out there with his teammates. I don't know if he even realized he fouled out. Now he realizes with a wry smile as he heads back to his own bench. So for New Brunswick, it's Moore, Harmon, Brown, Miller, and Latham who's checked in for Welcome. And a big 2 shots here for Boyd. The lead is 4. Can Jaquel Boyd make it a 1-possession game? No, he cannot. 1:20 left in the fourth. Brown splits defenders. Brown, Miller, not the man they want to foul. Pressure coming. 18 fouls for North Brunswick. They have to trap. Closing in on the minute left, a minute 4 to be exact. It's going to be Brown Miller to the line for 1-on-1, not the man they want on the line. 5th foul on Fitzpatrick. He is done. Fitzpatrick played big down the stretch, a key part in North Brunswick's comeback. A minute and 3 left in the fourth quarter. The sophomore, Marquise Parry, will check in for Fitzpatrick. So 2 free throws for Brown Miller. Excuse me, it's 1-and-1 for Brown Miller. It's 1-and-1. The PA announcer announced it as 2. Fitzpatrick fouls out with 10 points. Brown Miller sinks the front end. If New Brunswick hits these free throws down the stretch, they will certainly win this game. 1 of 2, a surprising miss from Ion Brown Miller. Corey Smith comes away with it. Parry finds Salazar. Salazar, a lot of contact from Harmon. No foul. Ed Borghini cannot believe it. And neither can Raider fans. Brown Miller almost lost in the backcourt. Almost commits a backcourt violation. Lost the ball. Salazar throws it up ahead. Boyd is fouled but can't finish. But 2 free throws will be huge. Jaquel Boyd who sank 1 of 2 a moment ago. And Borghini still talking about the non-foul call from a moment ago, which appeared to be egregious from our vantage point. Boyd is 1 of 5 from the line today. Has just 4 points. These are 2 shots. Boyd has to find his rhythm from the charity stripe. This once again to make it a 1-possession game. 41.5 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Boyd makes both. It's down to 3. Brown gets away. Brown in space. Brown for more. More is blocked by Boyd. What a play by Boyd. 30 seconds left. Smith with the ball. Salazar's open for 3 to tie. Rebound, Parry. Rebound, that won't go. Parry still comes away with it. Boyd for 3. Oh, he's tied the game. Oh, doctor. 15 seconds left. It's Brown Miller. 10 seconds. Brown Miller. 8, 7. Brown Miller. Can he be the hero? It's a 3. It's short. Boyd, 1 second. He's fouled. Surely no whistle. Oh my goodness. How was that not called? How is it possible? But we're going to overtime. How in goodness name was the whistle not blown? Ian Brown Miller nearly tackling Boyd as he went to put it up. What on earth was he thinking? But nonetheless, overtime is coming here at New Brunswick High School. What a comeback from the Raiders. My goodness. Ten points now for Boyd. He's scored the last 5 for North Brunswick to lead this comeback. Now we may have to catch our breath for a moment. So if you're just joining us, New Brunswick had a 5-point lead in this game. New Brunswick had a 5-point lead with 30 seconds left. 2 free throws from Jaquil Boyd, and then Boyd making a clutch block of Tajay Moore on the other end, and a scenario where Moore did not have to put it up. As we're off here in OT, the tip won by the Zebras. Brown Miller will go all the way. Oh, looked like he was hit. No whistle. And then Boyd making the clutch 3 to send this game into overtime. Losing the ball, Smith threw it away. Brown Miller, the other end, going all the way. Cannot finish. Good recovery by the Raiders. 4-minute overtime here in high school. We've now played 30 seconds. 3:30 left. Boyd off the screen. And a foul will come against New Brunswick. That is the double bonus. Brown Miller picks up just his 2nd. And this time it will be Whitehurst to the line. Excuse me, it will be Boyd to the line for 2 shots. Boyd, mentioned before, the last 5 points in the 4th quarter to send this game to overtime. But he has still struggled from the line in this one. Boyd sinks the first. And that is the first lead of the game for North Brunswick, and it comes in overtime with 3:27 left. Boyd. Number 2 is true. North Brunswick has taken control. Brown is bumped on the drive by Boyd, who cannot believe it. So double bonus situation, 2 shots coming for Josiah Brown. And that is 4 fouls on Boyd, if I am not mistaken. Excuse me, it is a second personal, my mistake. So Brown will go to the line for 2. And somehow he's able to get that one to go. Brown tried to bank both, but could only sink one. 3:15 left in OT. No need for the Raiders to rush. Defense chant arises here at New Brunswick. Boyd almost stripped by Latham. Now he's fouled by Latham. And Boyd still jawing away with Ian Brown Miller. Boyd has been antagonizing throughout this night. And that is 4 fouls on Latham. The fouls have piled up on both sides. Boyd will go to the line for 2 more. Where he's made his last 4. Not the best looking of shots, but Boyd will have another to make it a 2-point game. Jaquil Boyd, 5'9" junior. Sinks 1 of 2. The lead is 2 with 3 minutes left in overtime. Josiah Brown, oh, what a move by Brown, but he cannot sink the J. Salazar, the rebound. Salazar throws away for Brown Miller. What a pass by Brown Miller to Braun, and it's tied. For North Brunswick, not a smart foul by Latham in the backboard, and if I'm not mistaken, that'll be 5. North Brunswick is without Jabri Fitzpatrick and Donovan Crawford. Both have fouled out. The comeback occurred with both of those key players on the bench, their top 2 players on the bench. So Latham has fouled out of this game. And about to check in for New Brunswick. Eli Rodriguez, who is a freshman, number 35 in white, a freshman in for the first time all game in overtime of such a pivotal early season matchup. 2 shots again for Boyd. He has been money from the line late. 2:39 left in OT. Boyd sinks a pair, and it's back up to 2 for North Brunswick. 2.5 left in OT. Boyd is now up to 15 points. Brown Miller gets around Parry in the backcourt. Parry grabbing the backside of Brown Miller, picks up the foul. Brown Miller, who missed a key free throw near the end of the 4th quarter, will go to the line for 2. Parry, the sophomore, picking up the foul with 2:31 left in OT. Mentioned before, this is not a deep New Brunswick team. A 1-point lead for North Brunswick. This is not a deep New Brunswick team. And if their players start to foul out, as we have seen now with Latham, they will have to go to several unproven guys off of their bench. Brown Miller ties the score. And we get a timeout called by New Brunswick. 14 now for Ian Brown Miller. A full timeout for the Zebras. Well, there's no better way to begin a new decade of GMC basketball than with a collision such as this in overtime. This has been an excellent high school basketball game. Glad you could be with us, James Cargan on hand. This is the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. And if you're just joining us for the first time, well, you've missed quite a bit. Jaquil Boyd is now in double figures for the 4th consecutive game. That's that courtesy of Corbett Thompson. Thank you to Corbett Thompson watching the broadcaster for the King James Radio Network. Not a good pass. Almost stolen by Brown Miller, but collected by Whitehurst. Boyd, who's been the best player on the floor for North Brunswick. It's Smith. Offensive foul, an illegal screen will go against Marquise Parry. Second foul on Parry. 2:19 left in the OT period. Brown Miller will walk it up. Brown Miller with that brace on his right ankle after injuring it against Edison. All the way, oh, he's denied by Whitehurst. And a foul will go against New Brunswick. Eli Rodriguez picks up his first foul, the freshman who's just checked in for the first time a moment ago after Brian Latham fouled out of the game. It will be the sophomore Parry to the line for 2 shots. All square at 60. Now 61 to the good for North Brunswick. 2:07 left in OT. First point of the game for Parry. Just 1 of 2, loose but grabbed by Brown Miller. 2 minutes left in OT, full head of steam. Brown Miller just hoisting it up. But the rebound falls to Brown through the hands of Moore, but chased down by Brown. What hustle by Josiah Brown. Brown with the lane. The freshman Rodriguez, he surely walked, and it's called. Eli Rodriguez was not expecting that ball, clearly. Just a freshman put into a very difficult position. Corey Smith walking it up. 1:45 left in OT. The Raiders up 1. Timeout call by Ed Borghini. Ed Borghini looking for win number 403 in his career. The field will be as dramatic as this if he can pick it up. And a victory here will put North Brunswick firmly in position in the top of the white division along with Colonia. Ian Brown Miller a moment ago, not the best of moves. Go over some of the scoring in this game. Ian Brown Miller with 14 for New Brunswick. Tajay Moore with 18, but he has to be careful with the 4 fouls. Nadir Harmon with 11. Josiah Brown with 10. And Taji Welcome has fouled out with 7. For North Brunswick, 20 points for Corey Smith. 10 for Jabri Fitzpatrick, who's fouled out. 7 for Donovan Crawford, who's fouled out. Donovan Crawford, excuse me, who's fouled out. But Jaquil Boyd, 15 points, has led the charge without Fitzpatrick and Crawford. It'll be North Brunswick with the ball, up one with 1:41 left in OT. Surely heavy pressure will come here from the Zebras. Boyd in the backcourt, hounded by Brown. Boyd trying to brush Brown aside. Smith was on fire in the early going. Salazar, a gutsy three, he sticks it! Christian Salazar with his biggest play of the year. 4-point advantage for the Raiders. Brown Miller on the other end, he can't finish. Boyd the rebound. Boyd for Smith, 1:05 left in OT. Smith all the way, oh, so much contact, how was there no whistle? Brown the other way, Brown circus layup is short. Still loose, it falls to Brown. Josiah Brown kicks it to Nadir Harmon. Tajay Moore with the ball. Moore with 40 seconds left. Moore, turnaround, just shoves it at the rim, it's short. Boyd, the rebound. Boyd can just hold the ball here, and so can Corey Smith. Double team to Smith, and he's fouled by Brown Miller. 27.3 seconds left in overtime. And North Brunswick's fan section, as you can see, fired up. In for New Brunswick, as Smith will go to the line for two, up by 4. Manuel Rojas in for New Brunswick as Smith misses the first. Still a 4-point game, 27.3 left in OT. Manuel Rojas, number 50, is in for New Brunswick, also for the first time today. He misses both. The door ajar, perhaps, for the Zebras. Brown Miller pulls up. Too strong. Smith the rebound. Attempted to be fouled immediately by Brown Miller, but it wasn't whistled. Brown Miller finally fouls Smith. So Smith, after missing a pair, will go back to the line for two. 12.7 left, and the Raider fans can sense it. 4 fouls now on Brown Miller. Smith will go to the line for 2. When New Brunswick lost to Edison last week, you could perhaps chalk that up to Brown Miller's injury. But tonight, no such excuse can be made. The North Brunswick Raiders have come to New Brunswick. 1 of 2 for Smith, 12 seconds left. Harmon pushing it up the floor. Harmon will try the 3 and hit it. Timeout immediately called by Samir Sinew. 6.2 seconds left. This game is not over. We've seen crazier. In fact, we've seen crazier just from this very same New Brunswick team. The victory over South Brunswick, stealing an inbound pass with under a minute to go, as fans are leaving the building for some reason. Down 2 against South Brunswick. New Brunswick stole an inbounds pass and made it an and 1, which wound up being the game winner. And of course, last year in the GMC tournament against Old Bridge, the dramatic victory off of a turnover at the buzzer. Ion Brown Miller getting a steal and knocking off the top-seeded Old Bridge Knights. Of course, there was so much controversy in that game. Brown Miller was deemed later to have not gotten the ball off in time, but anything can happen with this New Brunswick team. They have to foul immediately if the Raiders can inbound the ball. Not sure of the timeout situation for either side, admittedly. 65-63 North Brunswick. 6.2 left in overtime. The Raiders will inbound. Off of a 3 from Harmon. Boyd will inbound. Boyd, the home run pass. And fouled is Parry. 5 5.0 left. Only 1.3 went off the clock. That has to be considered a win for New Brunswick. Parry is just a sophomore. Marquise Parry, massive free throws. He's missed the first with 5 seconds left. New Brunswick a chance at least to tie this game. Could it be so? This is huge. North Brunswick not going to contest this rebound. He's missed both. Brown Miller, 3 seconds left. 2. Brown Miller all the way. Oh, he's tied it at the buzzer. Oh, doctor! New Brunswick fans are apoplectic. They are going wild. Double OT. What a game here on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. I said before, New Brunswick, they've done it time and time again. They never say die. Would you believe it? If you are watching this game right now on YouTube, please share it with all your friends, whether you're a New Brunswick, North Brunswick fan, or an outside observer. Can only imagine what Corbett Thompson is saying right now, the broadcaster on the King James Radio Network, who called the North Brunswick girls game earlier today. But Ion Brown Miller is the hero and then some for the Zebras, taking advantage of 2 missed free throws from Marquise Parry. We have double OT here at New Brunswick. And boy, have these fans gotten their money's worth here tonight. So for the 3rd time today, we will tip it up. It'll be Moore and Parry, who just missed the pair of free throws, and we have a police officer has threatened that these fans all have to take their seats or the game will not continue. We have a raucous scene here at New Brunswick High School. But perhaps a tad too raucous, as these fans appear to be obliging. Brown Miller now with 16 points. Corey Smith with 21 for North Brunswick. But some key missed free throws down the stretch. So the crowd's starting to get settled down here. As you can see, a very unorthodox scenario. Police officers now about to leave the floor, it appears. The fans have obliged and they have settled down. So double OT is surely now on the horizon. It'll be Moore and Parry to jump it up. Moore has not scored in a while for New Brunswick. I don't believe he scored in the overtime period. And Moore wins the tap with ease. Josiah Brown will get it to the hero, Ion Brown Miller. Brown Miller putting moves. He spins in the lane. Circus layup won't go. And it falls to the Raiders. Nice bounce pass. No whistle on the play. It looked like a lot of contact. Parry couldn't finish. And it's out of bounds off of North Brunswick. Manuel Rojas getting back on defense, number 50 for New Brunswick. He did not play at all in regulation. Harmon thought about the three, but thought better of it. Josiah Brown. Back to Harmon. It's a three, it's short. And it falls to Corey Smith. 30 seconds gone by in double OT. Smith behind the back. He goes with a strip by Brown Miller. Gonna go one-on-one with Boyd all the way. And one! Ion Brown Miller has put the team on his back in overtime. And it appears that Christian Salazar is fouled out for North Brunswick, and indeed he has 5 fouls on Salazar. The junior will have to sit. And with everybody fouling out, you have to wonder who's left on the bench. The answer for North Brunswick will come in the form of Frankie Garbolino. Brown Miller misses the and one free throw. Garbolino got a hand on it. Saved out of bounds by Whitehurst. Garbolino has not factored on varsity this season for the Raiders, where they have had 3 different players foul out. Smith, hesitation dribble all the way. He's fouled. Corey Smith will go to the line for a big 2. Rojas will pick up his 2nd foul. Maybe the only player on either side not in foul trouble, along with Garbolino, because both did not play in regulation. Smith, a big miss. Corey Smith has missed 4 of his last 5 from the line. A big reason why we are in double overtime now. Smith rattles home the second. 67-66. 2:50 left in the second OT. No need for New Brunswick to rush. They are up 1. Ion Brown Miller now sees the 5-second count begin. All the way he goes. Travel is called. Brown Miller cannot believe it. He has played a lot of minutes on that right ankle, which is in the brace, after hurting it last week against Edison. Any notion of him being not 100% has quickly disappeared. Raiders have it down 1, 2.5 left in the double OT. Smith, nice hesitation move, has it poked from behind by Brown Miller. What a play. Moore all alone! Oh, doctor! Tajay Moore electrifies the Zebras up 3 in double OT. Off the head of Brown. No, it's out. Ruled out off of North Brunswick. Surely that could not be the case. Samir Sinew calls time. It clearly hit off the head of Josiah Brown last, but the referee saw it otherwise. Samir Sinew is fired up, and if we could perhaps get a replay of the dunk. A big reason why we are in double overtime now. Smith rattles home the second. 67-66. 2:50 left in the second OT. No need for New Brunswick to rush. They are up 1. Ion Brown Miller now sees the 5-second count begin. All the way he goes. Travel is called. Brown. But you could very easily rewind it if you're watching on YouTube to the dunk if you want to see that one again and again, and nobody would blame you if you did. We have an instant classic on our hands here at New Brunswick High School. North Brunswick making the most of their first appearance on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week since December of 2016. New Brunswick making their first ever regular season appearance on the broadcast. And thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you see on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week, there is so much more to come this season all year long. Next Monday, the City of Light Classic at 5:30 between JP Stevens and Edison. Next Thursday, the clash between the top two in the Red Division, South Brunswick, and number 1, St. Joe's. Under 2 minutes to play in double overtime. North Brunswick has a 1-3-1 trap set up. Brown Miller to the corner. Rojas probably shouldn't be putting it on the ground. Brown Miller spins out of the trap. Harmon almost walked with the ball. Brown Miller will be cautious. Brown will take the baseline. He floats it up and in. Gutsy shot from Josiah Brown. Now with 90 seconds left in double OT, the Zebras have a 5-point lead. The tables have turned on North Brunswick. Defense chant arises from the Zebra faithful. Boyd stripped by Brown Miller. Brown Miller could slow this down here and does. 1:05 left in double OT. Skips to Josiah Brown. Josiah Brown throws it away. But a foul call before on Boyd. Harmon is fired up. Harmon went down in the play. Third foul on Boyd. 2 shots coming for Harmon. Timeout called by Ed Borghini. Back is against the wall. With 1 minute left on the nose here in double OT. And these New Brunswick fans are fired up. So from the looks of it, upon seeing the replay, it was perhaps a reckless play from Jaquil Boyd. Brown had already thrown the ball away. But nonetheless, it'll be 2 shots for 90. Harmon coming off of this timeout. Corbett Thompson with another tidbit on Twitter. The last double overtime game that North Brunswick played was on December 16th, 2016, when the Raiders upset the then number 1 team in the county, Sayreville Bombers, 91-86. I recall hearing about that game well. That was a shock loss for the Bombers at the time. Fancied as the GMC favorite, ended up reaching the championship game that year with Xavier Towns, Ryan O'Leary, and Jasim Floyd. And a big story here perhaps for New Brunswick is Josiah Brown having his right shoulder worked on. He looks to be in considerable pain. On the near side, Josiah Brown's right shoulder is worse for wear. He is getting treatment. He appears to be in a lot of pain. That would be a big blow for New Brunswick if they were to lose Josiah Brown, the talented 5'9" sophomore. 2 shots from Harmon. He misses the first. Harmon with a minute left on the nose in double OT. Oh, he misses both. Smith comes down with the ball. Is the door open still for North Brunswick? Not from that 3 by Smith. 45 seconds left. Surely the Raiders have to foul here. Another new man in as Rojas gets it to Brown Miller. Brown Miller's trapped. Brown Miller almost lost the ball. It's stolen away by Smith. Boyd will pull up from 3. Oh, he knocks it down. It's a 2-point game. 29 seconds left. What twists and turns we've had here. My goodness. Can you believe this ball game? 18 points now for Boyd. And this, you would have to put now as perhaps among the better games that we've ever had here on the GMC Hoops Game of the Week. They seem to only get better and better as the years go on. Thank you to Greg Machos from GMC Hoops. You could follow him at GMC Hoop. You can follow me on Twitter at RealCorrigan. And again, be sure to tune in Monday at 5:30 for the City of Light Classic presented by GMC Hoops, as Edison and JP Stevens will duke it out for the City of Light Trophy. Next Thursday, a battle for Red Division supremacy. South Brunswick will battle St. Joseph at 7 o'clock from the Maglio Gymnasium in Metuchen. St. Joe's coming off of a signature win over number 1 St. Thomas Aquinas on Sunday at Kane. But somehow, someway, North Brunswick went from being down 5 and New Brunswick on the line to being down just 2 with 29 seconds left in double OT. Zebras will inbound. New man in for New Brunswick, Quentin Tibbs, in the game for the first time in this game. Brown Miller has it in the backcourt. Boyd tried to foul him intentionally. The whistle didn't go. Brown Miller will take it all the way. He scores! 19 seconds left. The clock continues to run. Is that the dagger? Perhaps. A steal by Brown Miller. Surely it is the dagger. The clock will run. The Raiders will not foul. New Brunswick wins! The Zebras did not go quietly tonight. They have reaffirmed their position as favorites in the GMC White Division. But what an effort it took, 73-69 in double overtime over North Brunswick. The Raiders have nothing to hang their heads about. They have proven that they belong in the elite of Middlesex County. But New Brunswick, time and time again, their backs are against the wall, and time again, they pull through. Samir Sinew's side surely has the heart of a champion. Things will only get more difficult for the Zebras. A matchup will come soon with Colonia, currently undefeated, but this is as good of a win as you will get in the regular season. This is as good a game as you will get anywhere. The final stats, Ion Brown Miller finished the game with 20 points for New Brunswick, as does Tajay Moore, 20 as well. 14 points for Nadir Harmon, 10 points for Josiah Brown. He left with a shoulder injury. And 7 points for Tajay Welcome. For North Brunswick, 22 heroic points for Jaquil Batts. 10 points for Jabir Fitzpatrick, who fouled out. 18 points for Jaquil Boyd. 22 points for Corey Smith. 7 points for Donovan Crawford, who fouled out. 1 point for Marquise Parry. 4 points for Christian Salazar. And 7 points for Whitehurst. That's the scoring for North Brunswick. The Zebras move to 5-1 on the season, 2-1 in the White Division. North Brunswick moves to 5-2 on the season, 3-1 in the White. That will do it for us here. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next broadcast, Monday night at 5:30. Edison takes on JP Stevens in the City of Light Classic. Thank you to Greg Machos and GMC Hoops. Thank you to Ryan DePaul and RDPLEX Films for putting this game on. This is James Cargan signing off. New Brunswick victorious over North Brunswick in double overtime.